Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Morning. There's Bill. There's Margaret. I can barely see her. Oh, there she is. Now she moved up.
I'm tired of this weather.
Oh, we got great. I'm down in the Ozarks right now. It's great down here.
Lucky you. This is miserable. And you can't even go outside after 8 in the morning. It's just horrible.
Oh,
You should come to Florida
it's
and you'll go, wow, this is really nice.
it's.
I'm
Well, I
not
don't know. It gets
Usually,
pretty humid.
where you're at.
It's warm here, but we're about 32 feet from the pool and probably 100 feet to the lake, so we're good.
How low
right,
this is,
right.
just to get that perspective. I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know. I know this is much.
So,
All right.
Bad Lake is a party place. I lived in St. Louis for 20 years.
oh, Table Rock, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, it's big. We went out on the boat last night, and uh, my son-in-law's boat. I was telling Trent it goes 70 miles an hour if you want it to. And that thing is fast. Oh my God. And,
Totally.
and everything he does is fast. He's a drag racer. He drag races, he's world champion drag racer for diesel pickup trucks, if you can believe it. So anyway, it's a good time. So far,
Oh,
I've only been here 14 hours, but it's been a good 14 hours. So
well, if
anyway,
you're by water, it's always good.
it is good. It's a big lake down here. It's a beautiful area down here in the Ozarks around Branson. So if anyone gets a chance, it's well worth it to come down, and
Yeah.
it's not all that expensive, and it's beautiful down here. People are nice, really
Mhm.
nice.
Missouri was
So
fine.
yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can get a chart up here. I'm working at remote, so I don't have all my technology here. So bear with me. So yesterday I was traveling, but I did keep watch of the market, and the ceasefire seemed to work pretty well. Uh, both of them kind of behaved after Trump scolded them, I guess. The S&P was up 1.1%, NASDAQ up 1.4, Dow Jones was up 1.2%. Oil prices have fallen, and that affects the energy stocks, of course. We got more Fed governors talking about lowering rates in July. So we'll see what happens. So that is actually helps out market sentiment. General Mills, Paychex, Carnival, FedEx are all doing earnings today. So let's get on with it, some charts here. Uh, here's the uh, here's the SPY, and I wanted to go back. Just this is a 6 month chart on the daily. Okay, you can see, yesterday with a big spike up, well, not spike up, a gap up. We're still right on resistance, but we could be seeing the breakout here. Look at the 200, or look at we're above the 200, we're above the 50, but we're starting to see when we come down, uh, we're not quite crossed over on the MACD yet, but we could be seeing, with this sentiment, the final the move up. And when we looked at, when we talk about long term, we've been talking about longer term investment and when to get in. And when we look, we've talked about Paul Tudor Jones in the 200. And if you're following that on the S&P, I mean, you would have gotten out basically back here, in March, okay, at about 560 and stayed under the 200. You probably wouldn't have got in there because it was a fake out, down, down, down. Came up, we gapped up. You're like, okay, I'm back in, 586. And so far, that has worked for you as an investment. And as a swing trade, we're looking right now, we're above the 9, but we're right up against the resistance. And the oscillators aren't telling us to get in here yet on a swing trade. But as a investment, you've probably done pretty well. You're still up, following the 200. Let's go to the let's go to the Dow. Dow is a little different, okay, because we're fighting the 200, that maybe this is where you might want to get in if you wanted to invest. Okay, it's only one candle above, but you can see what happened. Looks a lot like the S&P. Uh, I would wait a little bit. We don't quite have confirmation on the MACD. We do on the stochastic, and we're seeing some good signs on momentum. We're right up against the Bollinger Band. Okay, but we've been up at this level before. So again, on an investment, you can afford to wait because you're expecting it to continue up above the 200. This could be a fake out. You don't know. If you have a little more risk tolerance, you might say, okay, I'm going to take a jump in as an investor. And this is where I might get in and say it's going to be over the 200 for a while and maybe take off. Okay, but as a swing trade, I'm still waiting on it. If I was going to get in it on that point, Qs did a good thing too. I mean, they popped right up, but you're on resistance again. You're above the 9, so we're looking again. This could have been a swing trade. I don't like the swing trade up against resistance, but you got that's 50 crossing the 200, which is good. Same kind of look on the 200. If you're investing, you would have been out. Pop back in. You're doing well. If you're following Paul Tudor Jones, we watch that 200. Let's look at gold. With the markets going up, you would expect gold to go down, and that's what happened yesterday. Is equities go up, risk on, and then people get out of what they call the safe haven. We went right down to the 50. Again, look at this. We've hit the 50 on gold a lot, so it's been a good level of support. We'll see if it can hold or not today. Oscillators aren't giving me a very good indication that that's going to happen. My old friend and confidant, Bitcoin. Okay. We talked about Bitcoin. We talked about this cup and handle pattern, and we're seeing it break out a little bit. I mean, we've had 3 days, since this ceasefire, and now we're sitting at a 107. We dropped all the way down to below 100, over the weekend, and that was a good spot. And I buy into this when it does that kind of drop, because you see we're in 3 levels of support, resistance, support right here, resistance. Now we're above it, and now this becomes support. Start to see the Bollinger Band kind of move up a little bit, and look at the oscillators are starting to turn up. Even the stochastic has a nice up, got some momentum. So Bitcoin, we still need to get up here, above the 112. This is a high. If we can get past that, then we got another level of support resistance. But looks like we're going to play between this level and this level for a while, hopefully, and we'll see. But it's been pretty resilient on Bitcoin. And then, you look at MicroStrategy. The MicroStrategy has been kind of doing the same, kind of right along resistance. Okay. And we came up yesterday. We made it above the 50, which is a good level of support and resistance. But we're up against resistance again on MicroStrategy. So just keep that in mind. NVIDIA, even with yesterday, we're coming up. NVIDIA has been a nice, pretty much a nice swing if you wanted to pop in, after earnings here. And we did drop down a little, but we didn't get a full candle below the 9, but we're up against resistance. And you can see where the upper Bollinger is starting to try to turn up a little bit. But again, you have a strong level of resistance on NVIDIA, even though we had a nice day up yesterday. Meta. And again, I go through these because these are such influencers of the market, because they represent the max 7, 35% of the S&P, and about 50% of the Qs by market cap. Meta up again, but again, right at resistance. We'll see where we open and close today. Still waiting a little bit down here on the oscillators. What else we got? Google. It tried on the 200, and you can see what happens, and it failed. And now we're still under the 200. We found some support at the 50. We have some resistance right above. So Google's had a little issue, and Bob from Florida has been warning us about Google. He doesn't think it's gonna be a good long-term run, and he's got some reasoning behind that. We can talk about that later if he wants to, if he's on the call. Microsoft's been a nice runner. Look at this, right along the 9, right along the upper Bollinger Band. It's just been a good run for these Mag 7s. So again, no resistance on the top. Let me go. I'm going to modify this and cancel. Let's see here. I'm going to modify this one. This is our sell orders. I'm going to put the sell orders above and tight so you can see where the sell orders are. And we're running right up where the market, at least this program, predicts where the sell orders are. So we're right above a little bit on Microsoft. But you see again, if you were doing the 200 on an investor, you would have waited, gapped up. And if you had got in at this point, you've done pretty well as an investor. using technicals in just one line, the 200. Tesla. Again, Tesla, Tesla had that big day in Austin, 2 days ago, and it went up right at resistance, tried to come up above a resistance yesterday, hit the sell order line. This is where the sell orders are, and came back down. So again, it's a pretty tough level of resistance. We've tried to fight this whole area before. We'll see if we can get by it, but we haven't been able to yet. We'll see what happens with Tesla. But that was a big old candle the other day for Tesla. Apple. Poor Apple. Apple is so far under the 200 now. This would have been one. If you're an investor and you use Paul Tudor, you've been out over here, and it would have saved you some money. And we're still out as far as an investor. As far as a swing trader, it really, you got these Bollinger Bands so close. There's really no volatility yet to get us moving. We need to see this move up this way before we even get interested. Now we got some positives down here on the stochastic. We're still not there on the MACD. Need to get past this 50. We've hit it 3 days in a row on Apple. Palantir, you guys like Palantir? Palantir just kind of been a slow up and runner, but again, we're going to open right about where we closed, but we're right on that resistance level what we've been hitting for the last 6 days. And sell orders are right above it, right at the Bollinger Band. So again, Palantir, I thought it would pop a little more. It hasn't. Now we got the ceasefire, but we'll have to see what happens with Palantir. Some of the stocks that we watched are momentum stocks that are still in without resistance, ASTS, and that's just rolling right along the upper Bollinger Band. We do have some sell orders right above there, but that's quite a run on ASTS. It's a Space Mobile Class A, and that's all I know about it. But be careful. As fast as these go up, they can turn around and you can find resistance and come back down. I know a lot of you are into this one, TSSI. It's been a nice runner. And I like these when they go between support and resistance at the Bollinger Band. You see, we had a sideways movement and back up. It shot back up. We see a lot of that. Again, we have sell orders right above, right about where the Bollinger Band is on TSSI. Still no resistance level showing on that. Mr. Cooper, which is an interesting one because it's not, consider this. I mean, I think this is a loan company. But again, had a nice run just following the Bollinger Band. I don't like buying at the Bollinger Band or above the Bollinger Band, but some people with more risk, they do. They like to ride that momentum, and that's fine. That's how you trade. The oscillators still look good, on Mr. Cooper. And then
Mr. Cooper was purchased by another financial firm.
Is that what happened? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that would do it, Hood's one that Paul's been watching, and I like these again. Right between you see it ride the upper Bollinger, comes back within, hits support, back up, support, resistance, support, resistance. So then you come down, you watch the oscillators, no resistance except you have some sell orders right above here. So again, there's stuff out there that's running, and these are the momentums. When we look at the end of the 200 list, this one just blows me away. It's Whirlpool. And we talked about Whirlpool, and I was watching it right here when it was hitting support. I'm like, well, we're going to watch Whirlpool, much like we were watching United Health. And then all of a sudden it kind of popped up and then dropped back down right to support. And then once we got above here and we started seeing down here, the oscillator started moving in our direction. It just has been up. We popped in right about here, and we're still rolling right along. You still have sell orders. But again, you see that pattern, rides the Bollinger Band, comes back over right towards support, and then moves up again. So again, we are coming up against sell orders, and then the 200, and then 200, as we know, is a pretty good level of resistance. If we get past that, then you find resistance up here. But this has been on for a while. For under the 200, it's been pretty profitable if you hopped into that one. ILMN, this is just a slow mover, but it's between the support at the 9 and then the upper Bollinger Band. You do have some sell orders right above there, but it's just slow and steady, kind of between support and resistance. It's still under the 200, so watch that for as far as your risk and reward goes. Ball, there's Ball. Finally we were waiting for 3 days. and finally got above, and now we've had a back test of the 200. So ball, if your trading plan says good on ball, you're above the 200. I mean, if you're an investor, you may want to look into this too, but you do have some sell orders above it. But we did make it above the 200. The oscillators look pretty good. Let me move back. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, it's been a while since ball's been above the 200. Okay. Now it's not something I'm interested in as an investment, but people who use Paul Tudor Jones, there you go. Okay. But again, as a swing trade, we're above the 200. We got sell orders and then resistance up here. So that's potential there for you guys based on your trading plan. And then Marvel, this is kind of new. Marvel's been nice under the 200, just rolling along between support and resistance. We got above our intermediate support level. You do have some sell orders, but again, this looks like one that's just bouncing between support and resistance on Marvell. So it's under the 200. Let's go over to the watch list. Micron has just been doing really well. We are getting close to resistance, so be careful on that. But again, rode the upper Bollinger, came back in after 5, stayed within it. We're getting close to taking some profits on Marvell for sure. EL, again, nice one. This is one that made it over 200, back tested it, and then took off right along the upper Bollinger Band. Again, we do have some sell orders right above it. This line here needs to be removed, so it looks better. There you go. Again, right on the Bollinger Band, you expect that to pull back in, which it did. But again, over the 200, oscillators still look good on EL. And we talked last week about JP Morgan Chase, and that got above the 9, and we're getting up. It doesn't have a resistance level showing it, but we do have some sell orders. It's outside the upper Bollinger Band. Again, I don't like to buy there, but if you get in and you can ride that up, that would be a nice trade also. And now I'm going to get into what I've been watching, and we've all been watching Berkshire. Finally. Okay, we've been watching Berkshire since the shareholder meeting. Here's the shareholder meeting right here. Well, Warren Buffett announces he's going to step down at the end of the year, still be chairman. And we've come all the way down, and we played on the 200 for 4 days, and finally we got a full candle close above, went right up and closed on resistance at the 20. From my point of view, only, and not financial advice, if you're an investor, you're above the 200. We've done this before. We've gone back and looked at the charts. That 200 has been a stalwart for Berkshire. A lot of people watch it. A lot of logarithms watch it. This constitutes the start of a swing trade. We're seeing the oscillators pop up. It also constitutes a start of potential investment. So I got a message this morning from Amora, and she wanted to know, what stocks I would like, as a swing trade and entry points. And this is as good as I can see right now. And I like Berkshire. I've been in it a long time. I own it a long time, and I do swing trade it, and I did buy it. So this is something I'm not scared to own. Can it go down? Absolutely. This is a probability based on what we see. But right now, with the markets the way they are, with Berkshire holding $380 billion in treasuries waiting, I think, and the fact that we did not breach the 200, and we haven't breached the 200 the last 3 times it's hit, that's as good as I can get in saying that this would be probably a nice swing trade right here. Again, not financial advice, but I did buy as a swing trade and potential investment at this level. So that's as good as you're going to get from me ever, is telling you what to do. And I'm not telling you what to do, but we've been watching this one for a long time, and that's just what you do. You got to be patient, and once you see this happen, you either take advantage of it, hopefully, and it works out for you. Not that it always does, but that's why we have trading plans. United Health, come up. This poor United Health. I'm still waiting for United Health. This is one I'm going to watch. Again, we keep playing right along support, but if this thing can ever get some traction, somehow something happens, and we get this going up, this will be a good swing trade. Again, not an investment. We're well under the 200 But again, not yet. But we'll keep watching. What else we got? Oh, this is, we were talking about under the 200 and, this is Petco Health and Wellness. We've watched this before. It's come down, hit this support level, gone up. It's come down, hit support. Now we're above the 9. This would have been a good place under the 200. You're above the 9, and we're getting confirmation on the MACD. So you have potential here. Again, we got the resistance at the 20. You got some sell orders on the upside, but these are the kind of things we like to see: the dump and then the kind of the V shape back up. Those are things I look at. Someone brought up Lulu yesterday. Again, Lulu's not there yet, but look at Lulu. It came right down to support. So if you like Lulu, not yet, you want to get it past that 9 and start seeing it come back up. And then also watch your resistance for your risk and reward. Just a couple more. This is not on Ross Stores. Nice come down. We've seen this before. It comes down around the support level. That's where we are right now. The 9's coming down. These are the things I watch for because I want to try to hit at the lowest and make it go up just like what we saw in Berkshire. Berkshire is a lot stronger than these companies, in my opinion. But again, these are the patterns I look for. Not yet. Okay. SJM. This is another one we've been watching. SJM, finally the 9 came down. Look at that. Here's support. The 9 comes down, boom, and now we're above it. We're still sideways, but these are the kind of patterns I like for potential swing trades. I come down here. I don't have confirmation on the MACD yet. These are still pretty weak. We don't have any momentum. But if this thing starts taking off, these are the kind of things we like. Come down and support is as strong as we see on resistance up here. So these are what we look at. Put these on your list and watch them for potential swings, but they are under the 200, and you got to be careful when they're under the 200. I'm seeing if there's anything else. Just one more. I know a lot of you guys are into this one. CRWV again. This one hits the resistance level. I call it the resistance breaker now because it'll do this for a while, and it did it back here, and then it takes off again. But watch the Bollingers again. This is a strong line, but this has been a strong mover. But I'm just wondering when it'll run out a little bit of momentum. We're seeing a little bit of the oscillators again kind of rolling. But if you're in this, you've made a lot of money. You might want to take a little off at this point, but that's up to your trading plan. And with that, I didn't mean to take up that much time because I didn't think I had that much to talk about, Trent, but I guess I did on vacation.
Oh, when you're refreshed, you usually
I'm
have
not
more to
refreshed.
talk.
I'm not refreshed yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, okay, well, it's going to get longer and longer. So we're going to go an hour by Friday, right?
Okay.
It's all good.
No.
So I wanted to hit upon a couple things. Um, Volatility, once again, closed out yesterday uh, at what was it? What is that? Closed out the day at 1749. Today looks like it'll open at 1709. So we're in the investable bucket. That's really positive. Dealer gamma is positive as this morning, which is a bullish sign for markets. I'm encouraged by this 3-month average of the VIX because this is this week, and we're seeing it come down to this sort of trend line that we've seen since going back to May, basically a year ago. And once we hit July 2nd, this big candle disappears, which will then cause, or excuse me, this big candle will disappear. That was Liberation Day. That was for the week of the April 2nd. And so that will change the volatility structure. It'll allow volatility funds to take on more risk, which is good for buying stocks overall. When I look at the 12, what happened here? Bear with me here. No, I don't want to close that. Okay. So somebody asked about CRDO, which is in the tell sheet 12. As you can see here, this has hit all-time highs. It looks to open at 95.13 today, which is what, roughly $3 or so higher today. That's awesome. If we take a look at a weekly chart of it, you can see that resistance is right around 86.90, 86.59, let's say. It's broken through that on a weekly basis this week. That's encouraging. So we've got a lot of potential highs that we could see out of Credo Technologies this week. RSI, we're in the 70, above 70. That's a good thing. It's a matter of how long will it stay there? How long will this strength in Credo stay in play on a weekly chart? So that's encouraging. We go back to the daily chart. We also see that the relative strength is in the 80.02, which is nosebleed section. We've seen that before up in this area where it got up into the 86 range, and it does at times will subside. So both optimistic, but a little cautious. What did I say? Optimistically neutral a week ago, right? This is one of those to take into account. So this breakout, this consolidation that we saw here, or accumulation, if you want to say, over the last couple of days, is good, but we want to see this break higher and continue to see continuous more all-time highs. But keep in account that the relative strength is right up here in nosebleed territory, and in the past has pulled back. So take that into account. And this area probably will eventually become support. And that's what we want to see. We want that rise up, pull back to support, rise up, pull back to new support, and so on. That's how we staircase higher into stocks. One other stock I want to point out on the tell sheet 12 is where is it? There it is. Power Solutions International. Now, this showed up on Kerry's tell sheet. I forget the date, but if you go back to the beginning of the year, if we just said January 2nd, it closed out at 29.23. Today it looks to open at $66. That is 100+% move in this stock. Now, what I'm trying to calculate I'm working into the calculation on hypothetical returns is based on our system. You would have been out of this back here on February 24th or so, and you would have re-entered the position back here on May 9th. So you would have missed out on all this downside. So I'm trying to figure out how to calculate that kind of thing. So it give you a good estimate of what returns look like in the tell sheet 12. But overall, what I'm seeing both from the options market, what I'm seeing in stocks is there's more bullish moves potentially over the next, I would say over the next 3 to 4 weeks. And unless we see some big news headline or the Fed doesn't lower rates in July, maybe it sounds like they're indicating that they possibly will. And if they do, that would fuel this market higher. What I was thinking about earlier today was how the economic information about how the consumer is doing, how businesses are doing, has become so in a way disconnected from what the market is really doing. And I think that is something that at some point that divergent, that pull away eventually will come back. And my question is, when will that happen? When will that consumer spending or consumer delinquency rates come back into the calculations of where markets are valued? But right now, to me, it seems like it's diverting from each other, and the markets are playing its own game at this point. And so take that into account when it comes to the risk management side of this. So that's what I got. I'm optimistic. I'm not neutral anymore. I'm optimistic
Oh
about
my
markets
goodness.
going.
Wow.
I know.
That's
I,
big.
I am the I have been pessimistic, I think, for almost 55 years. So for me to say I'm optimistic is pretty amazing.
That's pretty good. I
So,
got a few requests here. We'll
oh,
get through those, then we'll get into discussions of whatever you guys want to talk about. Pepsi, Pepsi's kind of like we're looking at United Health. This slowly sideways. It had a good day yesterday, right up to resistance. I need to see this thing pop. We're seeing a little bit maybe, but not yet. Okay. Then once we get up, we have a lot of resistance above it. We got resistance, got the Bollinger Band, we got sell orders, and then we got the 50. But if we can pop this thing up, it has potential. It's just not there yet. As far as an investment, you're still well under the 200. So we'll watch Pepsi, daily, just like we are in UNH, and we'll be patient. Okay. Look at this. This is nice. NU Holdings. That was a nice little pop up yesterday. I don't know what happened. Okay. Something happened, obviously. We went from 74 million, 61, 82 million to 117 million shares traded. We're getting right up close to resistance up here. That was a nice pop above the Bollinger Band. I like to buy above the Bollinger Band, but something definitely happened to get it above the 200. Now we've done this before. Okay, we did it over here above the 200. So kind of a volatile kind of stock. But again, it was a nice pop yesterday. But nothing would have told me to get in and get that. But it was a nice pop for some reason. OKLC. Nope. What was it? OKLO? Is it OKLO maybe? Let's see.
Yeah, okay, I'll
Okay, sorry about that. Oh, okay. Let's take a look at this one. Okay. It's not letting me go the right way. Here we go. See if it'll let me go. Let's go to the 3-month chart. Okay, this one. I'm going to move myself out of the way here. All right. This one had a nice move up, hit resistance, went up, hit the sell order level, back down below the 9. Swing trade wise, not something that would interest me at this point. Investment wise, you can see we came right above the 200 again, right up to where resistance is. As an investor, you can stay in. You could use that to get out if you wanted. So you're not trading every day. These are a lot of days. If you're investing, 200 is way down here. But as far as a swing trade, you're under the 9. Your oscillators are off. So it's not something that would really interest me at this point. But if you got in as an investment, use that 200. You're doing pretty well. And I'll do the one last one because Trent already did this on his longer term. CRDO, again, this is a momentum play. We don't have any resistance except we do have some sell orders at about 96.50. You're playing right along the upper Bollinger Band. I like it when it goes between the support and resistance. So if you wanted to play the momentum, you probably want to try to get it, in one of these wicks down and put in a buy between the support and resistance. See if you can catch it a little lower. Again, I don't like trading on the upper Bollinger or above it, but a lot of people do, and that's up to your risk management and your trading style. But it has a nice run up for sure. Is there anything else, Trent, before I get off of the charts? Anything else in the request there?
it was it HIMS?
Oh, HIMS? HIMS. Hims and Hers. Hims and Hers Health. Yeah, that one took kind of a little beating. I don't know if something came out. I forget the news, but something came out for sure.
They lost a contract with Novodisc or somebody.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Margaret. Yeah. So, yeah, I would wait on this one for sure. You're outside the lower Bollinger Band. We'll see. Looks like it's going to pull back in at some point. But again, the oscillators are off and not looking all that great. So that's what I got. Bill has his hand up.
Yes, I do. Would you please pull up SAFX?
SAFX.
It's a brand new one.
Yeah, it is new. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So SXCF Global. What is this, Bill?
It's a petroleum converter to take scrap materials and makes airplane material for the airplanes.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, looking at volume, has some volume on it. Doesn't have much history for me to go on for technically speaking. So um, I usually shy away from things without uh, much history. That doesn't mean it's good or it's bad. It's just that's my process. Um, anything else you can tell us why you like this, or do you like
I
this, Bill?
basically at one time it was like $40 a share. Then of course it dropped down to less than $2. And I was
Yeah.
thinking about just putting a couple bucks into it and letting it sit for a while.
So just as kind of a speculation base, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have some of that fun in there, little bit of gambling, a little bit of speculation, and sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. But at $2, as long as it's not going to kill you and you can pay your rent and eat, why not?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Check out CTEV.
CPED.
No, C Cat Tango Echo Victor.
Okay, say it over again.
C
B.
T C as in cat.
Okay.
No, go back. Just start over.
Okay.
Cat Tango Echo Victor.
I feel like I'm in the military. This is really cool.
Yeah, I've never been able to do that. So that's I should get a plaque for that one.
You should. Well, we got a lot of resistance. It's trying to get by, and you got this 9 coming right up against it, and you got a Bollinger Band kind of converging. So, sideways. What do we know about this?
So James pointed out this is a data analytic company for healthcare industry. Looks lots of insider buying for the past year or so. A lot of institutional, according to James, institutional accumulation here, which is something you always want to look at from a stock point of view because they are the big money. They are the ones who push markets, the stocks higher or
Yeah.
lower. So this may be a more of a longer term play, and as they're probably from a taking a fundamental approach, I'm just guessing that could be the catalyst for it to go higher, especially through your green line of death
Yeah.
in the future.
This
So
one again, I'm emphasized because a lot of people are interested in how to use technicals for investing and just using this 200. If you look right here, if you would have got in, this is just one line. Take all the other lines out except this one on the daily chart, and you would still be in it. You would have gotten in, let's say back here in January. Okay, it's June right now, you know.
yeah,
And this is one line. It's one line.
I mean you're 100%, almost
Yeah.
what over 100% up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Now,
it's a simple approach too. Just use it,
I
you
can't
know.
tell anyone. I tell all my old friends that, this is what I would do if you just want to do it yourself, as an investor. And just watch it. You don't have to trade every day. You put her in. We'll see how Berkshire works out. But it's an incredible thing. And it's so simple, you know.
Yeah.
This one here it's pretty interesting, but we do need to get past this line. We're starting to see that Bollinger roll over, and when we're seeing the oscillators kind of droop, when you see the stochastic go down like that, it's probably an indication you may want to take a little off if you're trading it. It's up to
Yeah.
you. Anything else?
I don't see anything yet.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Bob. You got anything? Then we'll go to Patrick after that. Bob, down in Florida.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
No,
Good.
no, I don't have anything today. I'm just sitting back watching the show. I am
Nice.
invested.
Are you in anything that we need to know about?
Nothing, I'm in my usual line. I'm trying to get my Think or Swim up. Having a little problem this morning.
Oh,
Nvidia, they said Nvidia is going to 250 now. They just got their an analyst raised their number.
Jensen
I don't like-
actually, I think, is selling off shares right now. He has a
Nvidia?
plan. I think they sold off 15 million or so yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, Jason, whatever, or whoever the CEO
Jensen?
is. Jensen,
Yeah.
he's been selling. Yeah, he's got some big sells in coming up.
Yeah. And a lot of times that is a risk management, estate planning kind of approach. You see these guys get so concentrated into one company, the company they started, and they have to diversify themselves out. It doesn't mean it's totally negative, but he is picking a good spot to do it.
So what do you think about Toast?
Oak,
Toast, Tost.
Toast. He's having a little trouble on that resistance level. But what do they do?
So they basically handle the concierge in restaurants. They're taking over the restaurant business, like really amazing. They're growing substantially and continue to grow. If you look at the chart and you back it up, you'll see that they're moving up. So we're looking, it's up against resistance right now, but we're
Yeah.
gonna see if that punches through
Yep.
resistance.
Wouldn't that be heavily influenced by consumer spending and vacation?
Yeah, they are. But they're growing because a lot of restaurants are putting their system in because it integrates the whole concierge part of it.
So is that part of like a point of sale,
Yeah,
POS they call it? Yeah.
yeah.
My
A
my
lot
friend,
of
my
large
good
restaurants are adapting to their system.
I this is pretty amazing. My friend he's owned it for over 40 years, a pizza and pub, which is amazing to own one that long. But we can go on vacation. He pulls it up on his phone. He can see not only his revenues compared to the day before, the year before. He can see how how many employees he has on and what the cost per employee is based on the revenue. And that allows him to let people off or bring people in. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah. Well, they supposedly have an amazing system, and that's why they're growing. They're expecting a very large push on this stock. So I purchased some the other day.
Yep. And as you can see, if you, again, we'll go back to Paul Tudor, if you got in, you're doing pretty well over the 200.
Yeah.
But I didn't get Ben back there, but I got in the red. So I'm waiting for the next leg.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Check out RKLB Rocket Lab.
Yeah.
Rocket Lab is blasted off. Look at that, nice oscillators down here outside the Bollinger Band. So, if it pulls back in, this one, rides the top, comes out, back in. Look at that. Yeah, Rocket Lab. I think someone had BBAI too.
Yeah.
If that was in the chat, let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got that one popped up a little bit right to where the sell orders are, but got some increasing volume down here. Oscillators are turning up on BBAI. Big Bear, it's above the 200. This is nice, popped above, stayed above the 200. It's above the 50. Now it's above the 20 and the 9. So maybe something to look at. Just watch out for your sell orders right here. But other than that, it's got momentum for sure. Patrick?
Yes.
Oh, hold on, what?
Just
Yeah.
one question
Hey,
for you.
Joanne.
It's on housekeeping. I just received a notification this morning that there's a recording of last Friday's 3 p.m. Kerry's meeting, and it looks like I didn't receive any notification. I assumed that it was cancelled. It was only because I received the recording, I realized that it looks like I was missed out on the link for some reason.
Okay. I will make sure to double check that today because I'm going to be setting that up to go out on Friday. But I
Sure.
also included on the link will go on there on the newsletter in the morning that I send out. There's also a link. There will be one on Friday, so look for it if you don't see that. But
Okay.
I'll double check that, Patrick.
Thanks. Just a few questions for Mark. The
Yeah.
Sachs have just released their Prom 10, which is the equivalent of the Magnificent Seven. These are China stocks, and a lot of people are and because of the turbulence in the American markets, they're concentrating on the Chinese market now. And one of the stocks that caught my eye was Tencent. Their earnings report has just been out, and they've had a 57% increase in earnings.
What is that? What is the symbol in that? TE?
I'm not sure. Just TENCENT. I'm not. Let me just check. What the
I think
symbol
it's TCEHY.
Okay.
TCEHY.
Or TCH.
There it is. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah. 10 cent. Up above the 200. Look at that. Came down, bounced off.
When was that news, Patrick? When was the news? When was the
Just
earnings?
it reduced. It looks like it was released this morning.
Mark, put
57%.
the chart up.
Okay, hold on.
Nice.
Can't see the
Hold,
chart.
please. Hold, please. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm remote, so. Okay, so what was it? TE?
TCEHY.
Okay, hold on. That's the wrong chart. You gotta do.
Hey, Patrick,
This
that
one.
the CURI is a really nice swing right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Again, I'm remote, so don't have all my equipment here running on battery power. Here we go. Here's 10 cent. TCEHY. Kind of, it popped right off the 200 again. But again, it's kind of erratic. You look at all the gaps you have, in this stock. What are we trading on volume? Volume 3.6, 2.1. Yeah, you got volume, but it's gappy. It's kind of gappy. SR.
The other one is BYD.
China. That was a nice run up on that one. China Yuchai International. What do they do, Patrick? Do you know?
They make electric cars.
Oh.
And they're the most popular brand in Europe
No,
at the
it's
moment.
B as in boy YD, not CYD. It's BYD.
BYD. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
That's what I was
they
thinking.
make their Tesla's competitor.
This is it. Boyd. Oh, that's not Boyd Gaming. BDY, is it?
BYD, that's it.
Boyd Gaming?
That's Boyd Gaming.
Oh, really?
No, that can't be it. BYD is their brand name. Maybe they have a different symbol.
What was the one you gave me before, Patrick?
The other one was it was 10 cent. That's
No, the one after that. That was a China company.
Oh, it was Alibaba. We dealt with that yesterday.
Yeah, what was the one we just had up?
CYD.
CYD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. I don't know.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Definitely a Chinese stock, though.
Yeah.
I always have to bring this one up because this is.
Yeah, I'll look into it and find out what the correct symbol is. We'll talk about it tomorrow, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I know that Berkshire Hathaway had been a big investor in that Chinese electric car company. I'm not sure if they're still in it or not. Charlie Munger was big into that. We have request SRF down. Can't get that one. CURI. Somebody's talked about CURI, I think.
Yeah, that, Patrick mentioned that last week, maybe.
CURI.
Look at
Let's
that.
get-
Look at that setup.
Look at that right off the 50. That's amazing. You know, these lines and how, you know, it support, get above the 9 and off it goes, you know. We don't have quite the confirmation, but you do have, you know, this stochastic is a good indicator of where the MACD is going to go. So when you have that crossover, that's why I use it. You can make an inference that even though that you don't have a crossover on the MACD, it's probably going to happen. And that looks like that's going to be the case. Curiosity Stream. I have no idea what they do.
What do they do?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm curious.
Well,
I'm
who's
curiosity.
investing in it? Who knows?
They're,
I
they're
don't
an
know.
they're an IT firm. They're they're a fintech company. As far as I know.
It's a media and entertainment company that offers video and audio programming across
Okay.
the principal categories of functional entertainment, including science, history, society, nature, um, lifestyle, and technology. The company was founded by John Hendricks on June 6, 2008, and headquarters in Silver Springs, what's MD, Maryland?
Maryland. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's
There you
above the
go.
200, and that's a nice little pop above the 9 and above the 20.
Yeah.
Got a little resistance above the top, but you know, it's definitely the kind of chart we like to look at. You know, one that bottoms out at support, and then pops above that 9 for a trade for sure. PSIX, I think Paul had on there. I can get that to go. Here we go. I bet it's a momentum stock. Yep. Sell orders right up at the top here. But again, I like these that go between support and resistance. I don't like buying outside the Bollinger Band, but again, nice here. Little bit low on the volume. You can see 2, 3, 400,000. I like to get at least 500 to a million. There's 544. So the volume's kind of low on this. So we talked about that. I actually wrote a piece about it because we talked about volume on Monday. I think I put it in my office. You can go look at that. It just talks about volume and why it's important on swing trading. So go check that out on the Discord under my office. You can see what we talk about with why volume matters when you trade. So
It looks like there's support around $52. So probably potential pullback in that area.
yep.
Volume's very important. I agree. It's
Yeah.
big time.
Yep. Yep. Just for, you know, because your spread, you can get caught in a spread or you can get caught in a void if you need to get out on a trade. It can be difficult. But then again, and it can be manipulated by big traders who want to come in and manipulate the price. But other than that, you just be careful of volume. It's something that you always forget about. You look at a chart, you're like, oh man, that looks great. And then you get into it and then you're like, why can't I get this to buy, or why can't I sell it? You look at the bid and the ask and they're so far apart that you get caught in that. So just be careful.
I think it's a great indicator. If you looked at BBAI, you know, yesterday was the monster pop, but you'll see 3 days of increasing volume as again, I use it as an indicator.
Yeah, I do too.
Not,
I mean,
yes, it's a great indicator. Yep.
I mean,
well, the other, if you go back on BB here, if I can show my screen, Mark. Yeah, if you go back, right here. If you go back to the February 5th of this year, you see this massive spike in volume there, right? And then it sort of plays around and eventually peters out. So these massive volume spikes can be a leading indicator to that position topping out, as well as big volume spikes on downturns where, for instance, April 25th, hit a big volume out of average volume spike. And then that accumulation started to ramp up. So this big one could be cautionary, as it has been earlier in the year. So those, when you see volume spikes at the bottoms, a lot of times that can be a bullish sign, and when you have big volume spikes at the top, that can be a bearish sign. So keep that in mind as you're interpreting that, because these guys are what they're. This, in my interpretation, is these guys are selling in. If they're buying one, they're selling two, so they can divest themselves of that return, of that position, or bring that return position back. As we see here, back on April 25th, they you had 125 million in volume. The previous day, you had 35 million. So these guys that's an accumulation potential, and they just
Right.
kept on going. So something you can do is put an average on your volume indicator, so you can get a better idea when you get these breakouts in volume, as a indicator of, okay, am I busting out higher, or are they divesting themselves of these positions because they've made money? If you
Trent,
look at here, you made a ton of money if you got in, that you're above the 200, you're above the trade, you're above the intermediate trend. That volume just sort of accumulated. You can see where it spiked here. Market came down. You saw another spike here, came back down. And so if you follow these guys who came into this at what closed out at $2.06, they started getting out right in this area at $7.11, and then peaked out at $9.78. So volume could be a really great indicator of what the institutions are doing as well. So it's more of a contrarian kind of point of view. So
Right.
be
take that
cautious of
another
that.
step further. Take
What's
that
that?
another step further. On the days with the big spikes, go down to your 5-minute chart and see when in the day it was.
Yeah.
That'll tell you
Okay.
if it's institutional or not.
So when it comes to timing during the day, like what times of the day do institutionals play that role
The
to have those big?
algos, like the day trading showed you guys last week. If you look at the algos when they come in, you're looking for the long candles, right? Is it in the pre-market? What goes on at the open? What happens at the open? Because the institutions will set buy on the open, sell on the close, or vice versa. What you're looking for is during the day, what happened? Where was the volume? All that volume could be the last minute of the day. Is the stock part of an index? Is it the last
Right.
day of the month? Do they have to buy it or do they have to sell it? That's an indication of why you get that spike. Yeah, that's the kind of thing where you identify it on your long chart to go into the short chart to say why. You always got to ask who, what, where, when, and why when you're making investments. When you're looking at the charts, you got to do the same thing. Why is money moving into something? When did the money go into it? What was the impetus? If I could speak, I'd be dangerous. What was the impetus for that spike? You have to infer somewhat. You can't just take it on a daily basis and say, oh, it's great volume. Well, for the trading period, it was, but where within it will tell you, is it going to continue or not?
Right.
If
So
if
Mike,
your volume's at the sell, people are getting out. It's a big candle, they're getting out. Even though it's going higher, it means nothing more that the price is going up. Doesn't mean that the volume was on the buy side or the sell side. If there's not that much floating shares out there to be sold, that's a supply and demand issue, which affects your volume. So you're
so
taking it
Mike,
to the
this is
next level and peeling off the layer and trying to figure out what the hell is going on within it.
right. So this is a 5-minute chart, Mike, of BBAI, and that's 8:30 yesterday morning. You had a big spike in volume, as well as 8:40, 8:45, and then it subsided. And then
So
you had
that's all
another big,
institution.
yeah. So, and then today, whoa, it opened up at 584 today. So big volume spike there as well. You see
But
that
look at the next one, then it started selling, right?
right there? Yeah, this is this morning.
Yeah, so what are they doing, you know? They're pushing the
Yeah.
price up. And probably during the day, you're gonna see this retreat back down.
That'll be interesting.
You know, this is what's happening now since April, is you're seeing yeah, you're basically seeing the institutions playing you. This is manipulation. This is how they create liquidity. They pump up the price. So you see this at the open, you jump in. You say, oh, great, I'm going to follow the 9. Okay, well, the 9 doesn't matter on a daily. What's going on within the frame that you're looking at? The 9 is good looking on a daily across a year, what happened. You're looking at the trend. Now you're seeing the actual execution. So what are they doing? They're buying on the pre-market, pumping the stock up, creating demand. Creating. Market opens, retail says, hey, the stock's going up in the pre, I better get in. You get in, it hits, what does it hit, that fourth candle? What's the next one? Down. They're getting out. How big is that candle? What has the stock done since then? It basically went sideways for quite some time because your volume's going down. So what's happening? They're allowing the market to play out. They've created a false sense of euphoria out there for the investor.
Oh, the rug pull.
You got it. They're creating demand
Wow.
with the illusion that there's demand out there. People see that, they jump in.
Look at the candle right now for open there, Bob. I mean, Mike.
Yeah. Yep. So look at how big that candle is in the 5-minute. You watch that candle expand, expand, expand. Well, what happened? All those institutions that got in at 8:30, they're dumping.
Yeah.
This is the pattern
this-
you see with a lot of stocks lately.
Definitely.
Everything is within a range and they're creating liquidity. Great. I mean, this is a relatively a low price security. So people say, hey, you know, it's cheap. I can buy a lot. They're playing to the psychology of people.
Definitely.
So again, you know, don't be fooled by the term a lot of volume on a daily. I tried showing you guys this with the Wall Street Journal's diary. Look at when the volume is with that. You're taking the broad section of the markets, you're seeing the volumes at the open to the first half hour. Well, that's all retail. What happens after that? Well, where's the major volume? It's in the last half hour. Algos kick in at certain points of the day. 2 o'clock is the big one. That's going to tell you what's going to happen after that. 3 o'clock is the next one. And then at 3:30, then 3:50. Those are the ones that are telling you what's going on. But if the stock is part of an index, you have to remember that it has to be rebalanced. All those companies out there that hold the S&P 500 have to rebalance at the end of the month.
Yeah. Well, you're now at the end of the quarter.
Yeah.
So this week and next week is window dressing, really.
You got it.
And 6
Yeah.
months today, and 6 months from today is Christmas, so don't forget that.
Christmas in July, dude.
Yeah, there you
You got
go.
the calendar backwards.
All right, we got to wrap it up here, Mike. That was really good. I think the
Thank you,
overall
Mike.
call has been really good.
Thanks, Mike.
Don't get sucked in like that, people. Look more than just that. Keep your eyes open and wide. You can get sucked in very easily with this. It's illusions. These people have been doing this forever. They
Yep.
know how to do it.
Yep, definitely. All right. Well,
Hope it
I'm going
helped.
back. I'm going back to vacation. You guys go back to trading.
I need
Have a
to-
beer for me.
Enjoy
I
vacation.
will, Definitely.
Have
Enjoy
fun.
it.
Bud. Thanks, guys. Be
Thank
good.
you. See you
Thank-
all later. Have
See
a
you
great
guys.
day.
Be careful.
See ya.
Yeah, definitely.